Let's bring in our panel from Beirut. Kazem Kheir is a former politician with Said Hariri's Future Movement. Omar Nashabe is a professor at Lebanon University and served as a consultant on the Special Tribunal on Lebanon. And Khayat is the vice chairwoman of Jadeed TV and faced the tribunal herself for reporting about the prosecution's witnesses. I thank you all for joining us here on The Newsmakers. Kazem Kheir, let me begin with you. So nobody's in the dock. We have 4 Hezbollah defendants still on the run. Has the UN tribunal been worth all the effort and worth all the trouble?
Before we start with the question, I just want to clear something. I'm an independent politician. I'm not pro any party. Regarding the STL, we have today 4 accused. And from an objective opinion, I believe that most Lebanese are waiting for the final convict, which is going to be held in 2019. We have witnessed in Lebanon since independence and even before independence dozens of political assassinations, starting from Fouad Jumblat to Riyad Solh, Maruf Saad, Bashir Jmail, Antoni Frangiyi, going to Rashid Karami and Mufti Hassan Khalid, Abbas al-Musawi, and others, till we reached the series of assassinations of 14th of March movement, which was had started with former Prime Minister Rafik Hariri. So today, we think that the only way to stop the interference of the political assassinations in the life of politics in Lebanon, in the democratic system we have, and the freedom of speech, is to have justice and to have the truth about all assassinations that happen. And it would be a barrier that will stop all ideas of deleting other political parties through political assassinations.
Right, okay. Khayat, when that decision does come, as we expect it in 2019, so things are wrapped up and they're going to deliberate. When that decision does come, is there going to be justice? Not only for Rafik Hariri and the others killed in that terrible bombing, but also for the Lebanese people?
I have a different perception on the issue. Justice is needed, definitely, but it's even needed more in our country. So instead of, I don't believe that it's going to change the political landscape. I don't believe that the tribunal has not gone through a lot of mishaps, and maybe one of the main mishaps is that I'm a journalist and I'm the only accused to ever walk into the tribunal, other than the fact of the many different lacks of evidence that the prosecution had, and the fact that what we are seeing today from the tribunal are things that, at least I can say that on Jadeed, have been aired maybe 4 years ago. So many of the evidence or most of the evidence, are evidence known to everyone. I would say definitely everyone wants to put a stop to the political assassinations, and I don't believe it's the tribunal that actually led to that. We've spent like $1 billion on this tribunal. Maybe Lebanon has spent 500 million of it, and this could have been spent in our justice system, in the judicial system in the country, to better Lebanon in actually acting upon justice issues. So we have bigger problems in the country, and we should be spending this money in areas allocated to the Lebanese, where the Lebanese people would actually benefit from it judicially and in relation to our sovereignty.
Right. Karma, just for the sake of clarity, what was your trouble with the tribunal, and where does that stand right now? We won. We were acquitted. We won the case. The tribunal at a point in Lebanon was acting in an extremely superior manner to the Lebanese people and to the media. So they decided to file a lawsuit against Jadeed and myself. We were accused, and my accusation would have reached up to 7 years of prison for investigative stories that we have done related to the tribunal, from which many of the defense today is using
or is referring to lots of it. So Al Jadeed is a pioneer in investigative journalism, and we had done several investigative pieces related to the UNIIC, and following that related to the International Tribunal, to the STL. One of the stories they indicted us had to do with witnesses that had given statements to the tribunal, of which we had not even aired their faces nor their names. So anyway, we fought the battle. It was of course an unfair battle to strong-arm the media in the country, of which the tribunal definitely lost. Right. And we were acquitted in the end. So as an accused, I was the only one to step into the tribunal.
Yeah, that's
all
an
the
interesting
other
point.
Accused do not actually exist.
Yeah, the 4 Hezbollah defendants still on the run, and this is all going on without anybody actually in the dock. Omar, when that decision comes, will there be justice, or has Lebanon already, as has been suggested, moved on politically from the fallout, because that was a different time almost a decade and a half ago?
Well, justice has no age or limit. It doesn't expire. We actually have to have justice. We need justice. It's a crucial need. And whoever committed these crimes and assassinated Mr. Hariri or others has to be brought to justice. There's no doubt about that. The problem is the division in Lebanon is about how to reach justice. And is the tribunal, is the Special Tribunal for Lebanon the right organization, the right construct, the right body? It's a special body. It's a very special body, in fact. And it didn't receive consensus among the Lebanese. I disagree with your guest that not all the Lebanese are waiting for his justice. Many of the Lebanese have disregarded it entirely, completely, even if they are pro-Hariri. They have, and your guest actually mentioned a few names, and he, I'm sure by mistake, he missed out President René Mawad, who was assassinated also, and also Prime Minister Rashid Karami. And Prime Minister Rashid Karami, there was a court, a Lebanese higher court, that found the guilty people who actually assassinated him. But on the same year that Mr. Rafik Hariri was assassinated, the parliament decided to issue a law of amnesty for the person who was found guilty of assassinating a sitting prime minister. That was 2005. So it's a contradiction. It's a big contradiction. There are divisions in Lebanon. That is not new. Now, this tribunal and the process that it followed, I followed it very closely, and I was a former consultant for the defense team from 2012 until this year. So I know this tribunal very well. I gave a few lectures in the London School of Economics about it also. I have there are, you know, first of all, the problem is that there's no consensus in Lebanon. So there's a division. If you want to bring a referee or someone who is supposed to play the person who represents justice,
allow me to come in, and I know there's a slight delay.
Both parties have to agree to.
Yes. Allow me to come in, and I know there's a slight delay, right? Let's just step back for a second. You say there's no consensus, but there was enough consensus at the time or in the immediate aftermath for tens of thousands to take to the streets to protest against the Syrian presence in the country, which eventually got Syrian troops to leave the country after 3 decades, right? So, though you might disagree, there was enough consensus to believe that the Syrians were picking off Lebanese politicians for years and that they needed to put an end to that. And I'm guessing that's where Kazem is coming from as well. And that was a different time. Things have changed now, but it was still most likely to be the Syrians with the likes of Hezbollah helping them.
That's
Would
a
you
problem.
accept that?
Yeah, that's, sir, yes. With your question, there's a problem because, you know, your question, answering your question would mean that I would actually be lenient with the violation of the presumption of innocence. When someone is killed, you shouldn't actually, when you ask for a tribunal and you ask for justice, you should wait for the verdict. The verdict is yet not out. So how can people actually, you know, have a tunnel vision? Do you know who killed the man and you need a tribunal to confirm it for you? That's a different process. That's not the justice due process. A due process, you have to wait for the different steps. And during the first early stages, this tribunal works. What is the evidence presented? It is the analysis of telecom traffic, not even telecom content. 1. 2, there are so many practices by the prosecutor's office that are not only unprofessional but also unethical. You don't look for the killer of Mr. Hariri in a gynecology clinic in the southern suburb of Beirut without having a representative of the Medical Bar Association and the Ministry of Health. That's what is the prosecutors, investigators did. They acted in ways that were so violating basic fundamental human rights.
You have big question marks about the investigation and the tribunal. Kazem Kheir, come in.
Actually, I think that the cabinet in Lebanon has been paying for the tribunal for years. And now we're at the end of this. We are waiting in 2019 for the final convict. And based on that, we believe that all the Lebanese want the political assassinations to stop in Lebanon. And I named some of the assassinations. I didn't go into all. We have dozens and dozens. And people also who survived bombing attempts, who are also on the list of being under assassination. So the issue is that we haven't reached the truth or justice for years. And for the political life in Lebanon to go on, especially that Lebanon is one of the few countries in the area which has a democratic system. I mean, we still have presidents who are ex-presidents and still alive, which is where you can find it very few in other countries in the Arab world or in the area. This system is what we really are holding on, and it shouldn't be interfered with the assassinations or to make people silent regarding their rights, or politicians silent regarding their positions. So we feel that if we reach a truth one time with this issue, with this case, then we can put a barrier to all kind of interference of political assassinations in Lebanon for the future. I don't believe that we were able to reach the truth in any of the assassinations that was done before. I agree with Omar that we don't have a consensus on the tribunal in Lebanon, and it's well known. We have a lot of parties in Lebanon. We have pro and we have against, and we have people who don't even mind it. But I believe that all people in Lebanon are waiting for the truth because of the number of assassinations that was done in Lebanon since independence till today.
Okay, so then let me finally ask Karma. And I don't want Omar to accuse me of taking sides in the tribunal here, so I'm gonna ask this very carefully. I'm gonna use my words very carefully when I ask you this question, Karma. With the verdict, when it comes out, will it lessen the chances of Lebanon being used as a geopolitical playground for larger powers? Because if there is any consensus in Lebanon, it's that this small country has been used as a playground for the battles of bigger powers. Will that lessen after the verdict?
Of course it will not. I mean, it would be a dream come true if it does. It would be a dream if all the political assassinations in the country stop, or no one ever dares to do that again. It would also be a dream to get justice to the over 1,000 innocent people that were killed by the Israelis in the July war for Lebanon. But I truly do not believe that the political justice, we will reach political justice, or Lebanon will stop becoming a ground for all the external parties to interfere. I would just like to add one thing. You were saying that it put a stop to Syria. Syria was accused. The tribunal did not accuse Syria. If the other party is looking for justice in this manner, Syria is not accused in the STL. There are 4 individuals that were accused, and the indictment and the verdict will come based on those 4 individuals that were accused. Syria is not,
I was referring to the street demonstrations which led to the withdrawal of the Syrian forces. In the immediate aftermath, the street demonstrations which led to the withdrawal of the Syrian forces.
No, I know, but I'm just
right.
I know, but I'm just making a point that even the special tribunal of Lebanon went into a more individual basis. So
Understood.
I do not believe that the verdict, I just believe that we're going to be spending more and more money. I agree with Omar that the Lebanese people from all different parties, and even our Prime Minister, Saad al-Hariri, went out after the tribunal and said that whatever the verdict is, we will have to live together and work together, all the different parties in Lebanon. So in the end, politics is politics. Politics will continue to evolve in Lebanon based on the different parties. I don't think that Special Tribunal of Lebanon will either put a stop to the assassinations in the country, will bring actual justice, which we all dream of, okay? And the most important part is we would be benefiting our country if we would be spending those money. The tribunal is going to go further for another 9 years.
Right.
There are other cases related to the assassination of Rafik al-Hariri, and the employees in the tribunal will continue to be paid their salaries, so they have a benefit in proceeding with the tribunal. So we'll be paying another 9 years, which would be another $1 billion. I'm sure our justice system in Lebanon truly needs this kind of money.
The one thing that annoyed me is that we invited the STL spokesperson to come onto the program, and we almost got the spokesperson on. Unfortunately, we couldn't get that guaranteed. That would have been good to have a bit of that back and forth. We will no doubt invite you all back on the program again at some point. Khayat, Omar, Nashabe, and Kazem Kheir. I've got to move on for now, but I thank you very much for joining us.